Can you guys hear me? Am I back? Can you guys hear me? Am I back? Can you guys hear me? Am I back? Echo. Alright, no more echo. Alright, cool. Yeah, I had my stream software crash for some reason. What in the heck? Alright, cool. I'm back. Sorry about that, y'all. Everybody's still here. Everybody that wanna be here. Glue, you're here, so we can play your game at least. Okay, let me get this transition, bring up browser, and go to your itch page. Alright, so you're a knight with one task. Destroy what's left of the people who own the land before you and keep your people safe from the false god. Yeah, just Twitch weirdness. I think it was more Streamlabs weirdness, honestly, but these things happen. Thank you guys. If you guys got kicked off, thank you for coming back, and if you didn't, thanks for hanging out until I got back. Alright, so entry for Newbie jam. Alright, so we're keeping our people safe from a false god. Oh, it's a Rinpai. Means it's a visual novel? Ooh. Ooh, that's a little loud. I mean, turn that down just a teensy bit for you guys. Hello. 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 Okay. Cool. Alright. Alright, so preferences. Text speed. Give me lots of text speed. I read fast. Music volume right about here. Okay. We did it. They're gone, thanks to your work. But your task isn't done yet. Destroy what's left. They were praying to a false god. Leave no traces. Keep our court safe. Yes, your majesty. Something is lurking out there. Is it waiting? You approach the first statue. It looks overgrown and old. It shouldn't be a hard task to destroy it. I wouldn't if I were you. Who's Aeon? I'm not even gonna engage. The king is wrong. Leave the statue. I'm Aeon. I am the god who protects these lands. Don't fight against a god. You will lose. I don't plan on losing. The statue still stands there. It's as if you can hear a heartbeat. Is it yours? Is it the statue's? I'm gonna break the statue. Fuck it. Fuck this statue. You were right. It was already old. Your sword went through it like flesh. You stare at the broken statue, blood leaking everywhere. Proud of yourself? I did what had to be done. I don't care about you or your people. Wrong answer. I dare you to touch another or my statue, or you will feel the consequences. You walk to the spot where the second statue is supposed to stand. Don't you dare. You can feel that the statue is also alive. Its heart is beating. You know it is. Good soldiers follow orders. The horrifying picture of blood and stone will be stuck in your head for eternity. So you did it, despite my warnings. I followed the orders of my king. You're nothing to me. You go to the place where the third statue is supposed to be. There's nothing there. Huh. I misread the map? No, you didn't. Let's see if you're able to break the third one. You're unable to move. Everything turns red as you turn into stone. Oh no! Alright. Let's go through the second path. King, 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 king. Who are you? I'm the one you're searching for. I'm not searching for anyone. Why did you kill my people? Why do you destroy my property? I haven't done anything yet. The statue still stands there. It's as if you can hear a heartbeat. Is it yours? Is it the statue's? I can't do this. Wise decision. But the king won't approve, will he? I'll tell him. Someone else will have to do the job. I couldn't do it. This isn't right. You had a task to do. You failed. Guards, execute him! Aww. And I'm assuming, Glue, that if I, no matter, like, let's see, we're just gonna say nothing, break statue, skippity. I don't want to do this anymore. And so, yeah, if you go back, you'll still end up getting the same ending. Okay. I like that. So, one thing I did notice, and this is just about your main menu setup, right here, where it says blood and stuff. Yeah, depending on if your zoom, I guess your default zoom. Yeah, it works on default zoom. But if you're doing something like this and you're like 175 or something, you start losing letters. I'm not sure how to fix that off the top of my head. But I really like that. I like the vibes in that a lot. The concept of like the bloody statue is really, really cool to me. I had a D&D game once that was if any of you guys have watched Dr. Stone, that anime, it was kind of like that concept, where the main characters had turned to stone, yada yada yada, and a couple of them had like fallen apart. Yeah, art takes forever. Art takes forever. That's why I just did like super basic pixel art stuff. Yeah, this stuff's very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna throw up the privacy screen. Do my ratings for you. Um, but yeah, like artwork is great. I love the moon, kind of being the I don't know the focus of where the head is. It's almost like this moon is looking at the the head in its hands, like looking at itself in a way. I don't know. I'm not super artsy fartsy in this direction. Yeah, that is like one thing that happens. I know you can also, depending on your game, I don't know if it's a Rinpai thing, if you can get the blood and stone to snap to the bottom of the screen. Um, but yeah, it might be just like a container anchor situation, where like if you could like stretch it out, it would constantly stay, or an alignment thing. I'm not entirely sure. I think it has specifically to do with the label container this is in, but I'm not sure what box or flag you need to tick. Um, Other than that, I don't really have any notes. Like it was really cool. Like for what you delivered on, you delivered on it. Yeah. If the only complaint is I wish I had more, that's a really good thing for a game jam. Yeah, 100%. Main game, like it's literally like nitpicks. I don't know if you were here at the beginning, but like if I seem critical, it's literally just like I gotta look for something to tell you. Like I don't know, an actionable step. It's not me like, oh, your entire game's trash because I can do this, and sometimes it goes blood and stone. No, like 100%. Like what you want to deliver on, you delivered on. This was just a little tiny thing that I'm like, oop, oop, oopsie. Yeah, good job. I'm gonna throw up the privacy screen really quick so I can do my ratings. Keep on yapping in the meantime. The king is called Sto. King Sto. Yeah, I can here, let me go resolution scaling. Oh, Oh, it got mad at me. Check that out. That can probably answer most of the questions better than I can. And if that doesn't fix it, oopie. I'm sure there's something else that can. All right, back to my voting. All of these games are so good. Very much so. Yeah, you definitely want higher resolution for something like this. Ooh. Okay, all right. So whose game is next? We got Pirate Tower. And then we are done with all of the viewer submissions. Okay. And there weren't very many submissions for this game jam, actually. There's kind of a small batch of us. I kind of like that. I like it that it felt very close knit. It only being a few people. I've been participating in game jams, and most of them been like hundreds. Like, oh, there's no way in hell I'm playing all of these games. Okay, so transition. Pop the screen back up. Pirate Tower. All right, so this one is by Ghost Robot. Step into the action with Pirate Tower Defense, where you command island fortresses to repel waves of incoming enemy ships, use strategic placement of cannons and defenses to protect your stronghold, earn gold from defeated foes, and manage your damage levels to survive. Will your cunning and tactics keep the island safe from the onslaught? 100%. So, like, I say, like, I've participated in game jams. I've always participated in teams. And so first team, technical issues, a lot of people whose eyes were a bit too big for their stomach, yada yada yada. Game didn't ship. Your game didn't get like finished. It's like an okay game, whatever. Um, then my second game jam, um, stuff ended up happening. Some like miscommunications, basically hot potatoing of responsibilities for a minute. The game we wanted wasn't the game we made. Made Mr. Tom's Ping Pong Panic or Marble Mage Madness, whatever I called it. Mr. Tom's Marble game. Made it by myself, and it is basically, with the exception of like one or two very tiny things, exactly what I wanted to make. And that felt really good. The fact that I was like, ooh, I have an idea, paper, clap, go. It just feels really nice to have a project done and having like something that I'm like, ooh, this is worth exploring. This is worth doing some more. Yeah, it's not just done, it's really cool. Yeah, like that's really cool. Like I don't think first time art has to necessarily be like good, bad, whatever, but like the fact that you're like hitting the ground running like that, that's dope. Alright, so Pirate Tower. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. Alright. Let me just make sure that my screen resolution just isn't too big for this game no matter what. Okay. Alright, yeah, I'm definitely missing some of the screen. No. Yeah, 100%. Would rather deliver on something small than not at all. That's a very good way to point at it. I think that's just a true takeaway that like is a good lesson to learn in games and deliver. Like in general, is find like 1 to 2 very, very core mechanics, make that as fun as possible, and then if you have time, expand. I think like that's a theory I've been hearing. I've been doing a lot of research lately, and that kind of just seems to be like the move. Like, don't try to do too much at once. Don't try to do anything crazy. Do something that says something is worth playing. Whatever is fun. Um, Not something that's grandois, however you say it. All right, I'm gonna actually try playing this. So yeah, unfortunately, it seems that I can't even play this game if I wanted to. That is unfortunate. Okay. I'm gonna try one more time, see what I can get done. Let's just turn it to 100% zoom. Run game. Okay. Use mouse click. Yeah, no, this sucks. Not that this game sucks, it's unfortunate that I can't play it. Yeah. Well, dang. I'm sorry that I can't play your Ghost Robot or your Pirate Tower game, Ghost Robot. I'm gonna let the pirates come get me, I guess. Oh, I see. These my towers? Hey! Kinda sorta got something going. Alright. Let him cook. I'm just gotta like squeeze right in here. Yeah! Just gotta squeeze in there. Alright, let me place it. Let me place it. Oops. Kinda works. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the screen. Doot and a doot. Blah 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 blah. Go 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 go. I really wish I could have played a little bit more of that. It's unfortunate that like yeah, sometimes you just run into some export issues. Um just make sure, bind your screen, figure out how to figure out like multiple resolutions and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, the debug tool, like if you used Godot for this, the debug tool, that lies. That's not what your game's gonna actually look like whenever it exports. And it hurt my feelings on one of my games, and I just ended up not. I So if you're comfortable with RenP, Rimpi, however you say it, I would suggest um, downloading Godot, um, looking into the Brackeys series of tutorials, looking into the GD Quest series of tutorials, and then after you do that, look into the asset library because they package Godot as a very streamlined product, and so it doesn't really on its own compete with like Unreal or whatever have you. But if you add certain plugins, extra features, add-ons, yada yada yada, it ends up being very expansive very very quickly. I'm actually, I'm gonna show you guys like what kind of nonsense I've got going on. It really is easy. Yeah, especially if you got Python experience. Um, I kind of work the other way around. I've been learning GD script and have found that Python just makes sense to me now. Yeah, like if you yeah, I'm gonna pop open the screen really quick after I get this votes done. Yeah, Godot's kind of the inverse. It requires like a lot of, well, it's very very customizable. That's a big thing. Very very customizable, and it's super modular. Like you can kind of just make it do a little bit of whatever you need to. You can find the right plugins, right? Find the right add-ons, and you don't gotta pay for any of it. For Unity, because you prefer C Sharp, Godot is easier for me in a few aspects. So, like, apparently Godot does C Sharp under the hood. I don't know C Sharp at all. Um, yeah, and I don't know. I'm personally biased. Godot's the first engine I've worked with outside of. I think I tried to make something in RPG Maker when I was like 10. I got maybe of a month into it tops, and by a month into it, I like just kept messing with uh character art. Okay, do. Brain with spaghetti. So a really cool thing about Godot is you can a lot of the stuff that you would need for a very basic game, you do it all within the inspector and the UI. Everything you need code for that's like expansive, you don't need very much of it. And if you like do like block coding or like visual coding or anything like that, like you like Scratch, there's plugins that make Godot Scratch friendly or Scratch like. Okay. And then we're also going to rate Keep My Duck Safe because that was by SCGCGSGCS. But yeah, I definitely think like trying to learn Godot if you're wanting to get into like indie games and stuff like that is definitely worth exploring, especially if you're wanting to do more than just like wanting to do things other than just like visual novels and like point and click adventures. Right. Let's go to click click. All right, keep my duck safe. All right, so A, D for movement, T to launch your duck, R to retrieve your duck, S to swap position with your duck. Okay. Wish me luck, guys. Hello, welcome to Keep My Duck Safe. Press A and D for movement. Okay, and you said it had restart. You just gotta restart the tutorial. Okay, there we go. Hello, welcome to Keep My Duck Safe. Press A and D for movement, space for jump. I can't jump. Hey, just in time. I just started playing your game. Except you can't jump. Oh, you got me. You got me. I was like, I can't jump. Your spacebar. It's broken. I got trolled. Press T to launch your duck. Here's my duck. Where's my duck and why is he getting launched? Press S to swap places with your duck. Okay. Next, press R to retrieve your duck. When you die, you'll lose half a heart. Your duck is also vulnerable and uses your health bar. You'll get back the health when you retrieve your duck. After you die, you can press Q to revive at your duck's location, like a checkpoint. If you don't have it around, you go back to the start. Okay. Collect all the coins and unlock the door to win. You can get some upgrades along the way too. Now go and have fun. Oh. That's not nice of him. My duck. Oh, my duck. Okay, I see. Okay. Restart. I understand now, kind of. Okay, so T is for throw. Oh no. R is for retrieve. T is for throw. Yeet. Okay. So now, throw. Okay. Three. Hey, hey, hey. Retrieve. Then we throw. Retrieve. Haha, I got my coins back. And then we go back to our place, and then we retrieve, and then we... Oops. Goodbye. Goodbye, friend. Whee. Yeah, next level. Coin, 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 coin. Okay. Not throw, switch. Retrieve. Throw. Retrieve. Throw. Switch. Retrieve. Okay. This is a trap. I'm too... Yeah, this is really cool. I will say the fact that I'm having to switch buttons kind of makes me feel like I'm trying to tap my head and rub my stomach at the same time, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I think the only part that, like, is too hard about it is the fact that I'm having to press so many different buttons. Like, I'm having to, like, talk myself through it. Oh, there's a bigger guy down there. Okay. Aha! Okay, and then retrieve. But no, it's a really fun mechanic. Okay. Am I supposed to stand on you? You hoverboard? Yeah, it's really cool. Alright. Throw, switch. Oh. Switch. Retrieve. Oh no, oh no, oh no, you got me. You got me. Okay. Okay, so we're just aiming for right about here-ish. Throw, switch. Retrieve. Then we throw, switch, retrieve. Alright, this is the part that's going to be hard. Throw, switch, retrieve. Cool, I can jump on enemies' heads. Alright, and then we are going to... Yup. Flip this. Alright. I know what I need to do, it's just going to be a pain in the butt to do it. Throw, switch, retrieve, throw. Yeah. I'm not getting the rest of those coins though. That's for sure. That's difficult. That's some sick tech. Oh, I have to get all of the coins? Oh no! Oh no! Oh, Jiminy Crackers! Uh-oh, I gotta try. Okay, yeah, no, I can see why you said it might be a bit too hard. If getting the coins was optional and was just a yeah, I think like getting the key to be able to get the flag is a big ask. Ah. Okay. So there's one more level? Okay. Pro, stay pro. Aha! Okay, so we're gonna aim for all the way up here. Throw, swap, throw, throw. Okay. So it's throw, swap, retrieve, throw, swap, retrieve. Throw, swap, retrieve, throw, swap. Retrieve. Throw, swap, retrieve. Swap, retrieve. Throw, swap, retrieve, throw, swap, retrieve. Yeah! But now I'm stuck up here. I'm soft locked. Oh no! Oh, and I can't respawn unless I'm dead. I'm soft locked. Alright. We're gonna see if I can, just gonna see if I can, like, break my way out of here. Damn. Damn. Alright. Throw, swap, tree, throw, swap, tree, throw, swap, tree, throw. Throw, swap, tree, throw, swap. Damn. Gravity kicks in real quick on you. We're gonna aim all the way up here. Throw, swap, tree, throw, swap, tree, throw, swap, tree, throw. Okay. Gonna aim straight up. Throw, swap, tree, throw, swap, throw, swap. Hee. I found the tech. Okay. Swap. Retrieve. Throw. Swap. Swap. He's shy. Having to like use all of my brain processing power to get the timing on this right. Uh-oh. Anyway. Throw, swap, retrieve. Whew. Throw, swap, retrieve. Throw, swap, retrieve. Throw, swap, retrieve. Okay, and then I can jump on this guy. And that'll be fine. So we draw on a bunga. He's dead. Throw, swap. And retrieve. Alright, now this is the part where I have to be careful and not to be a dumb dummy who's dumb. Okay. Throw, swap. Swap. Okay, so come up a bit higher this way. Swap, throw, swap, throw, swap, throw, 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 swap, throw, swap, throw, throw, swap, throw, swap, throw. Damn. Throw, swap, throw, swap. Okay, so now I need to be able to do this without accidentally soft locking myself. Throw, swap. Hey, hey! Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. You can basically fly if you launch duck and swap fast enough. Hey, I learned a thing. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think I'm getting through this one. This one scares me. Be so real with you on that one. I have to think too quick on my toes. Alright, let's throw. Whoop. Get out of the way, dude. Get out of the way. Green duck. Green duck throw. Nice. Okay. Okay, I didn't know there were upgrades. I have a bit more confidence now. Because... Shasha! I'm stuck! There, there! Thought I was just gonna, like, start free-falling. So, throw. Oh, I'm dead. I am die. I am die. I am die. Damn.
No, don't get me.
You got me. Throw. I know, I'm trying. I'm just bad at this. Got him. Oh, no. Whee. Oh, good. Oh, good. Mama. Okay, okay, okay. Throw. 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 Damn. He killed both of us. Alright. We throw. Throw. Save. Throw, save. Oh, got him. Cool. Throw. Swap. Throw. Swap. Throw. Swap. You can jump a tiny bit. Just. Alright, so. Throw, swap. Oh, 1 second, y'all. No, Glue's got a good point. Why is the duck a snowman? What's the lore? I'm gonna be so real with you. I don't think I'm. This makes me sweat. This makes me anxious. I'm just like,
No, don't get me.
it makes me forget all of the buttons immediately, knowing that they're coming to get me. It's a lot of fun though. It's a really cool concept. I definitely have to say, out of like gameplay mechanic concepts, it's one of the more unique, probably the most unique one I've seen. It was the default sprite in the original source. That's funny. Protect my duck who is a snowman. But no, I think this is a lot of fun. It's a really, really fun mechanic. All of your animations are really well put together and stuff. All of this is really well put together. The fact that you've got an upgrade system, dope. The fact that like the jumps feel like nice and floaty, and you're like, ooh, I'm gliding around, awesome. It's just hard, and I'm bad at it. Yeah. So yeah, at that point, my only, I think my only note would be maybe make it where keys are so burned out making all of these. I can imagine you like did a lot. Did a lot. This is really, really good. I would say literally my only like note is maybe don't make it where all of the coins are necessary to win. I'd like to pay more. But yeah, it's really, really fun. It's just art. Or throwing and retrieving being the same button. Like, maybe. No, you're A-okay. Like I said, all of this is coming from good place. This is all coming from we are growing together. We all are learning together. That's fair. That's fair. I've tried to like make sound work, and sound just breaks stuff. Like sometimes silly stuff happens, especially in a game jam. None of this is me like wagging my finger and being like, "You did wrong." I'm just, you know, making notes, making thoughts and feels, yada yada. Overall, I do think it's probably the most unique gameplay mechanic that I had to not deal with, that I got to play this jam. I was like, not deal with is absolutely the wrong word. Yeah, I think everybody had like some really unique takes on what they were doing. Bees, I don't think I've played your game yet. Did you send me yours? If you're still here, Bees? I'm gonna go ahead and get to the privacy screen. Well, I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. Um, if you enjoyed your time here and you haven't already, I would absolutely adore a follow, and would absolutely love having you guys follow along with me. I plan on streaming at least 2 or 3 times a week, doing my game dev journey, and would just kind of love having some newbies to bounce ideas off of, people who are in similar shoes as me. So SCGCGS. Thank you for coming and hanging out. Aw, Blue, that's so sweet. Thank you all so much. Okay, I'm gonna finish this little voting thing and then pull up Bees' game. I do judge everyone. I watch solely on how good I can draw while watching them. That makes me so happy. Legitimately, whenever I'm personally in my free time, I'm more yeah, sorry, messages. Yeah, whenever I'm exploring like a new YouTuber or anything like that, because I personally watch most of my content on YouTube whenever I watch stuff. Um, Anytime it's a new YouTuber, I'm like, oh, please have a good voice, please have a good voice, please have a good voice. And Diesel, it's a-okay. I know, schedules are weird and things like that. Even just popping in to say hi and stuff like that, or you know, taking part in any like the community stuff that we have outside of the Twitch is really appreciated. Just anything like that. Um, just the fact that you come and hang out, really cool. Do let's see. All right, so I got that sent through. Let me pull up the Discord really quick. It is it really depends. It really depends on what kind of mood I'm in. If I'm There's certain streams that I will like keep an ear out for, and like those will be ones that I go out of my way. Yeah, like I watch a lot of VODs. End up watching a lot of VODs, or like cut down content of Twitch streams, and then through there I'll watch like a stream or two of theirs. Um, these I'm not seeing your thing in the Discord. Where did you post it at? Yeah, at first I wasn't like so worried about um like making VODs my own or like on my own or anything like that. Like that wasn't a super big deal for me. But then I kind of like started thinking about how I consume content. I was like, no, VODs are very important for people like me. Yeah, it's kind of like body doubling. That's kind of why I did it. Even if there's only one other person in Twitch chat while I'm working, body doubling. Please, I'm not finding your game. I'm looking. I think I'm just gonna look straight on the Twitch page. You're the same username on there too, right? But yeah, it I don't know, it helps keep me honest, kind of having this like Twitch schedule. Okay, so you did In a Dark Cellar, right? Bumble. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Bumble Beazle. Okay, okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right. I think I found it. Okay. Cool. Let me get some water. Let me check my messages and stuff. Okay, yeah, it finally went through. It finally went through. Just taking its sweet time. Okay. You're working on your demo right now? Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Transition. And in a dark cellar. Ooh. Oops, sorry. All right, so you are an electrician. who was called out to a remote church for some emergency repairs. It's far away and it's late, but the pay is good. It'll just be a job, right? All right, so we use facade for controls, look around, mouse, E or the left mouse button, shift space, or shift is sprint, jump is space, pause is escape. Okay. Let's bring it up. But yeah, everybody did really good work here. Like I don't have like any like harsh notes of like anybody just like, oh, you made trash game on purpose. No, like I can see got the head bob going in. Flashlight. Let's see my chest. Won't, 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 won't. Well, hello. Thank you for coming on such short notice. If you could please fix the wiring in the basement. We have a large function tomorrow and the electricity has been on the fritz. The entrance is over there in the corner. Alright, yeah, I'll get right on that. Blue skidoo, you can too. I'm here to okay, so hello. Who is it? Okay. I'm trying to open the door. I just won't. I can't repair the lever. Stop knocking like that. To open the door, 3 tumblers have to be in the I don't think that's the way I'm supposed to be going, huh? Do 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 do. Open. Okay. Okay. Gotta do it. Power restored. Hello. What the hell was that? Come on, buddy. We have to get out of here. You were consumed by the darkness. Okay. I don't know. I don't remember which way to go. I wasn't paying attention like that. Eh. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, 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 gotta keep running 'cause I'm so scared. And yeah, I don't think I'm getting through that. That's rough. That's really fun though. The darkness gets me every time though. The darkness. I hate the door knocking sound. God, it sounds like somebody's actually. Uh, uh. The heebies and the jeebies. I absolutely. Ugh. Oof. Yeah, my sense of direction just goes absolutely out the window the moment I get stressed. So like something chasing me, if there aren't like bright arrows telling me which way to go, I'm gonna die. That's just a me thing. That's not a failure on your point. Um, it's just scary. It's just very scary. If your goal is to give me the heebies and the jeebies, you succeeded. I'll give you that. No, that was a lot of fun. Do throw up the privacy screen really quick. You recorded all of it? Good. If you hadn't, you were definitely like getting the VOD sent to you. Oh, you recorded all the game sounds. Okay. Oh, you did the Foley and stuff. That's really cool. It's very realistic. It like echoes. Um, yeah, the first time it happened, I had to like check my surroundings, make sure that there wasn't somebody actually knocking. All right. Is anybody that's hanging out in the chat that I missed? Or did I get to everybody? think I got to everybody. At least everybody that reached out. Let's see what other. Are there any other games? Oh, I need to play Digital Cheeses. Okay. I'm gonna play one more, and then I think I'm gonna take a bit of a break, come back, and we'll figure out how we're gonna kill this last hour. How does that sound, everybody? That sound all right? Fire Slug. Play Fire Slug. Okay. Transition. Pulling up Fire Slug. Digital Cheese is one of the followers. He hangs out. He actually was blah blah blah. He was hanging out while I was making Mr. Tom. He's actually the person who named Mr. Tom, because I was like, all right, what's the main character's name? I just need a name. Throw me a name. So yeah, Mr. Tom is because of Digital Cheese. Alright, gotta build up the momentum. Oof. Let's go! Let's go! Oh! Oh no, I missed it! Oof. We snow. Nice. No! Shit. No! Hey, let's go! And the hits start coming and they don't stop 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 coming. Ah! I can't let them die. I can't let them die. Just one more. No, 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 no. Shit. Whee! Shit. Oh. No. What was that? What was the score before I lost? Oh. Alright. I'm gonna throw up my privacy screen. Go ahead and rate that. Oh my goodness. Greater than 115? Holy hell. I was just going. I was just yelling. Thank you. Okay. I'm probably going to hop off, or take a break for a moment and come back and do probably, I don't know, we're either going to do a little bit of coding, start working on my next project, or a little bit of gaming. We don't know yet. But I appreciate you coming and hanging out. Appreciate all you guys. This was a lot of fun. I love doing game jam streams. This is like my favorite part of streaming is getting everybody to come in and play all these games together. Yeah, thanks for coming out. I appreciate you. Y'all take care. Peace. Okay, I'll catch you in a little bit, Glue. Alrighty, we are back. I think this last 45 minutes to an hour is just gonna kind of be vibe o'clock. Definitely don't have an exact plan of what I need to be doing. I think I've got a couple of little like projects that I'm working on. I've got some. I don't know. think I think we're gonna chill, listen to some GDC talks, and hey, Glue. Yeah, I think I'm gonna throw a GDC talk on, and yeah, here's one that I was listening to earlier. I'm gonna throw this up, and then we're going to play around in Godot a little bit. What you working on, Glue? Or do you have another uh name you would rather me refer to you as? Call you Faye? Okay. Drawing your main character's bedroom? Okay. Cool. Let's see. Well, if you don't mind just chilling while I listen to some nerds yap, I tend to do like learn with me style stuff. It's a whenever I'm not doing game jams, so I'm typically listening to somebody else kind of like I said, just listening to somebody else yap for a little bit while I try to learn as much as I can, play around in Godot. Sometimes we'll listen to music, chill. I don't know, just kind of a little bit, whatever. Okay. Just trying to find a good, comfy medium. Also, Faye, if you're interested, I do have a Broodlings Discord that if you'd like to join, where basically I'll throw up recommended content, daily yappings, tips on Godot that I find, stuff like that, just as things go around. Should have a link around in the doobly doo somewhere. Yeah, we're just gonna vibe. It's 5 o'clock.
Hello, welcome to Failing to Fail, the Spiderweb software way. I would like to thank you sincerely for taking a chance on this talk, being as most of you have no idea who I am, and I'm keeping you
Okay.
from your day drinking. My name is Jeff Vogel, and I run a company called Spiderweb Software, which I started in 1994. We're a little company, 2 full-time employees now. It used to be 3. Most people have never, ever heard of us, but we've been around for a very long time. Turn-based indie fantasy role-playing games. Very low budget, very retro, a lot of words, a lot of dialogue, very story-heavy, intricate settings. We do them for Windows, Mac, iPad, Linux, and Android when we can get someone to do the port for us. These are some of the series that I have worked on over the past. They are not household names. This is a full list of the full-length games that we have released for money. The games in italics are full remasters. We don't half-ass our remasters. When we remaster it, we redo everything. The other games are completely all new full-length titles, and we write pretty big games. God knows you don't want to count all that, but it's over the time we've been in business, we've released 16 full-length all new games and 8 remasters. What do we do? Well, this is our very first game, Exile Escape from the Pit, which we released in January of 1995. And just to be clear, even by the standards of the time, this was a pretty darn cheap-looking game. It's adorable, it's functional, it's a clearly recognizable Ultima knockoff, but you know, it's cheap and scruffy. In comparison, about a month and a half ago, we released Avernum 3 Ruined
Cool,
World,
perfect.
which is a remaster of Avernum 3.
Thanks
Which is
for joining.
itself a remaster of Exile 3 Ruined World. So we've been around long enough that we are doing remasters of remasters. And you know, if you look at this, I mean, graphically, production values, it's fine. You know, we're not crapping ourselves up there. It's reasonable. No one's gonna mistake it for a AAA title or something, but it's basically functional. We don't write hits. Now, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against hits. I would love to have a hit. I think it's a great thing to shoot for. It's just not what we do. We try to service a respectable niche with competent games in order to sustain a pleasant, sustainable middle-class income. So, why am I up here? Indie developers love and should love postmortems. They love the stories of creating a thing because you can sort of pick through it magpie-like and look for elements of the story that you can use to help yourself. Well, this was a postmortem too, except it's not a postmortem of a game, but of a career. Because I am older than the Stones and the Dirt. I have been writing indie games continuously for a living longer than, I'm not going to say everyone, but the list of people who have been doing it longer is not long, and it's by a matter of months. Indie games, as a big thing, are new. They're really new. We only became a full, big $100 million a year industry in like the last 5 or 6 years. So the idea of how to do a full career, a 20, 30, 40-year career in this industry is very much an open question. So it's not talked about much. 40 years, my God, there isn't going to be a planet left then. So that's the purpose of this talk, to start approaching this question. How do you keep the ball rolling? And so I'm going to tell you a story about the last 25 years, a couple lame, funny anecdotes, and a couple things that I've observed about the nature of our industry. I'm not going to have any answers for anybody because you're all your own artists. But perhaps some things I say might help you to ask a better quality of question. So this is the old person part of the talk. And I've observed that there is nothing that young people hate more than old people talking about what things were like when the world was young. Ooh, punch cards. My first computer was a cinder block with a keyboard duct taped to it. Yeah, there's going to be a tiny bit of that, but I promise to try to bring it around to something that might be valuable to you. So how did I get started? I was a really, really weird kid. When I was 5, I spent all of my time in my bedroom with a pencil and paper drawing increasingly elaborate mazes because they fascinated me. I was lucky enough to have worried but basically supportive parents. 1975 or so, my dad went to a bar with friends, and he came home and said, "Jeff, I saw this weird thing I'd never seen before. I thought you'd find it interesting." And he described to me a thing called Pong. And he was right. It did sound awful interesting, but I couldn't try it because even in 1975, 5-year-olds hanging out in bars was not going to fly. But 1 year later, on a Washington State ferry, I found this big old wooden box where you could put a quarter in the front, and you could fire rectangular torpedoes at these 2-dimensional boats for 70 seconds, and if you did it really well, you could do it for 20 more seconds. And even then, my tiny, little, barely alive pea brain knew that this was my thing. This was my bag. Writing video games for a living was an idea that compelled me all through my childhood, I read everything I could about video games, about programming. I played them whenever I got the chance. When I was 10, I walked into my fourth grade classroom, and there were people with this weird-looking blue book and some funny-shaped dice. And once again, I didn't look at it for like 2 or 3 seconds before it had colonized my brain. And that night, I was bugging my parents, please, oh my God, take me to the mall so I can buy this. And that was how I got started with Dungeons & Dragons. My school library had a program where kids could write books, and you could put them in the school library, and then other kids could check them out. And so I immediately had to learn to type hunt and peck style, and I wrote my first D&D module, put it in the library. Now, at the news media at the time, even the most prestigious outlets, was starting to run stories about the evil of gamers, about how there are these treacherous, evil, corrupt, insidious creatures who must be feared. A proud media tradition that continues to this day. And as a result, a concerned parent called the school library, and as a result of that, I'm the only person I know personally who has had a book banned from a school library. This is the module that I wrote, art also by me, The Tunnels of Grok, and you will note in the title that I spelled tunnels with the somewhat less common LE spelling. What was the point of all that? I have been gifted with a gift that is almost unprecedented in the whole of human experience.
Currently, I'm just trying to make a red Koopa. Essentially, I'm just making a very basic AI that's gonna walk towards an edge and then just flip around whenever it gets there. It's gonna be like the base template for some other stuff I'm working on later.
Better understood industry than ours. Video games are young. Nobody knows anything. We're still scrambling to figure out, how do we design these things? How do we create these things? How do we test these things? How do we sell these things? How do we market these things? How do we add loot boxes to our $100 million project without causing to blow up on the launch pad? Nobody knows anything. And if you think you know a rule, one of you out there, your fortune and your fame might be figuring out the way to break that rule. And, in 2 days, grown-up GDC is going to start. Real GDC is going to start. And these halls are going to be filled with Microsoft people, Electronic Arts people, and Activision people walking down the hall like they're too cool for school and looking at me like there's something they just scraped off their shoe. And there's going to be high-powered consultants here whose job is to charge a fortune to stand in the corner of the room and pretend they're the person who knows something. Don't be fooled. Nobody knows anything, and this is your art form just as much as theirs. Sue. Don't patronize me. Okay. My first game was a thing called shareware, which was a marketing technique. What was shareware? Well, in 1994, most software was sold in boxes on store shelves. And shareware is based on the bananas radical idea. Wait a second. What we're going to do is we're going to write demos of our games, small portions, and people are free to spread their demos to everyone that they knew. They could put them up on BBSs. They could put them on American Online. They could give copies of the demos to their friends on the off chance they had any. And if you liked the demo, then you pirated it 90% of the time. But sometimes you got the full version by sending me money. Now, how did these demos get around, and how did the money come back? Because bear in mind, at this time, there wasn't really an internet. We're back to 1994. There was no real web browser. There was no real web. Most people, this is my first 14 4K modem, which was capable of downloading my 1.2 megabyte first game demo in a blazing 90 minutes. You used these. How was your game distributed? Well, you could put your demo on AOL, CompuServe, Prodigy. These were services that cost $3 an hour to be on. That's how much the internet cost
Oh, my Lord.
for $3 an hour. You could get demos by buying magazines, which have shareware on the front. You could go to your local Office Max or CompUSA and spend $10 for a disc with 30 to 200 shareware demos to try out. Excuse me. You want a discoverability problem. This is a discoverability problem. And finally, my favorite, you could go to the mall and you could go to kiosks and you could go to shops, and then there were walls covered with discs with shareware demos on them. So you would go and you would pay up to $10 for a shareware demo. You would take it home, you put it on your computer, and if you liked it, You would call me on the phone and say, hey, I got your demo, I want the full game. And I'd say, hey, the full game is $25. And then you would say, you freaking con artist, I paid $10 for this disc, and then proceed to yell at me for upwards of 5 hours. So as you liked the game, you wanted to send money back. You mailed me a check using a stamp. You would get a postal money order from the post office. You would mail me cash. One Viking mailed me $25 in change. The envelope went like this, chink, 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 chink. And finally, if you could get a credit card, a bank to trust you, your small business could gain the ability to accept credit
I'm
cards.
trying to make
Never
that
happened. Put a
when you
pin in
start
that. I'll
your
get back
game,
to
you
that
can
later.
actually customize
So,
the bedroom a bit. Oh, that's really cool.
1994, I'm in grad school. And
I like that. I love being able to do like little cozy customization stuff.
And gotten a real job, and we decide to live the dream and actually own a computer. I will, as an aside at this point, I have been very lucky in my life in the opportunities I've been given and the background that I have that just enabled me to learn to program when I was a child. I want to make it very clear that that fact has not escaped me. Now, here's your standard old person statistics for our first computer, which cost about $3,700 of today dollars, adjusted for inflation. It came with 8 megabytes of RAM, which could be upgraded to a lofty and princely 16 megabytes for only $680 of today dollars. I bought Code Warrior to write programs because I liked doing that. And if you wanted to learn to program at the time, there was no internet, so there were no discussion groups. So you just went to the local bookstore, you bought books, and you stared at them until little pinpricks of blood started appearing on your forehead. Got a computer. I want to play a role-playing game because that's totally my bag.
For sure, especially
So I figure
it's not a visual novel, but I really like in Heartbound, like as you progress, depending on the choices you've made, the room gets customized.
In the business cycle, what this chart says is that industries have a tendency to go through boom times and bust times. It is a very important concept to understand. I'll get back to it when I talk about today. I hate grad school. I can live my lifelong dream. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write a full-length fantasy role-playing game, and what the hell, release it to try to get some pizza money. So now I got to sit in a room and stare at the wall. What the heck am I going to do? I'm going to live my dream, but what am I going to write? How am I going to write it? So it doesn't take me long. I come up with the idea. I loved these games as a kid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to every single game I liked as a kid and steal the single best idea from every one.
That's cool.
And then
That's really
in my craftsman way, amalgamate them into what I hope is a cohesive and satisfying whole. Indie games are great for innovation. I love innovation, but innovation is not the only path. You must remember that every single one of us stands on the shoulders of giants. I looked at what I liked to play, and then I copied it. That is my creative process. And my second lesson is this is all going to be about finding my creative process, my way.
That's cool, like little trophies and stuff. Yeah, I really like that.
And this is going to sound like sort of artsy-fartsy, ooh, follow your bliss, man, advice. No, it's not. It's very hard-nosed practical advice, and I'll tell you why. Most of the people you're going to run into in this thing are looking at their career over a time frame of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, which is reasonable, especially if you're trying to get started. But that's not the time frame I think in. I'm thinking about in 20 years, in 10 years, in 40 years. I want to know what your career writing shareware games is going to be like in 40 years. And that's a long time. If you're going to work in that length of time and you're going to be operating at a very peak level of efficiency, because you need to in this business, you need to create a life, you need to create a mindset, you need to create a process that is not going to rub at you. Because if there's something that's rubbing at you, if there's something that's putting you off your feed, over the next 40 years, it is going to rub you down to a nub. So, I'm writing a game. I do my grad school stuff during the day, and I work on the game at night. Fortunately, so I had infinite energy. I spent 4 months hacking out something like an engine. My wife at the time was enormously supportive. She drew these adorable little cartoon graphic icons for me, art that I still get emails requesting to this day. I spent about 5 minutes making the world, placing the walls, placing the swords, giving the orcs dialogue, another month testing it, and then it was done. I had a complete functional,
of course not. That's definitely not for a demo.
Massively flawed whole. But I had something I could hand to people and say, see this? This is a game. It was massively flawed. it was embarrassed me deeply. But then again, every product I ever write embarrasses me deeply. But this is one of my guiding phrases when working this business. In the end, it's you struggle to ship the game, but at some point you got to push the button. At some point you got to kick the thing out the door. If I double the amount of time working on a game seeking perfection, I need to double the amount of sales that I get from that game to justify it. Doubling your sales is hard. Time is valuable. I am always striving to be the only thing better than good, which is good enough. I get another lucky break. I'm on Usenet, which is the only discussion forum on the internet. At this time, the internet was small enough
this
that
is just
only
gonna be
one
like
insane
game scene or like level
discussion
templates.
board covers the whole thing. The Fantasoft had a hit game called Realms, and they wanted to get in publishing, so they offered me a really good deal in order to take my orders for me and give me sort of a basis of a couple thousand people to tell about my games. They were enormously helpful to me. I probably would not have a business if it wasn't for their help. Third lesson, I strongly recommend whenever possible that you be lucky. I tend to get in a lot of trouble when I say this. There are a lot of people who, just to get through the day, they really need to believe that they live in a deterministic world that contains some measure of justice. But that is not the case, especially when you're trying to live in art. Eventually you're going to need a lucky break. Eventually you're going to need someone to vouch for you. And all you can do until that time is work your butt off so that when your lucky break comes, you are fully ready to jump on it and take advantage of it. So I'm starting games, so I have to do all the tedious legal business stuff. I have to research what it takes to get a business license and then do that, pick a business name, all of that stuff. So my next bit of advice, have a quality accountant. And I know you're thinking, this is a professional conference. Why are you telling me this tedious 101 level stuff? Because I have lost count of the times when I've talked to a seasoned independent professional who should know better, and they're asking me questions, and I'm like, dude, you need an accountant, not me. Because once you get in the point where you need to pay taxes, where you need to do payroll, the mistakes are many and they are high impact. If you screw up your payroll withholding, all that is going to earn you is a tiny little sympathetic shake of the head from your auditor before he destroys you. I'm selling a game, so I need to pick a price, which is as difficult back then as it is now. Fortunately, at the time, all successful shareware games were $25, so I picked that. That is, in today dollars, $41. Now imagine that. Imagine actually being able to look people straight in the eyes and charge them $41 for a game. But the tragic truth of it is that we are making a bespoke artisanal product for a niche market, and we should be able to charge this. It is only the overcrowding that keeps us from able to charge what we're worth. But that's the tragedy of the business. Shareware, so I have to make a demo. And another tragedy of my business is that I always make my demos too big, 10 hours, 20 hours. I released a game with like a 30-hour demo. I shudder to think of the amount of money that insanity cost me over the years. But I've always been weirdly proud of it too. One thing that helped me sleep at night is that pretty much everyone who got my game, one, tried it and found it worked on their computer, two, played it enough to know they enjoy it. And since we're indie developers and we like to act like we subscribe to a higher ethical standard, one of my mottos has always been, look, if you don't like my game, I don't want your money. I'm going to be the only person you're going to run into in this thing who think the main problem with the Steam's refund policies is that they're not generous enough. I've had a 1-year no questions asked refund policy forever, and I've never had problems with it because by and large, the people who play money for games,
That's cool. That's like a pretty good vibe. It's like, oh, am I gonna do like pretty and like, or am I gonna be prickly? And the color of the bed sheets. That's cool. Those colors are really easy to alter and mess with.
and change my life forever. And I'm terrified. I'm completely terrified. And I'm only able to do it by making what I call a progressive screwdriver. And here is how you make that.
You don't want to have to draw and like recolor all of those bed sheets. You can have it like alter it through code.
Added more vodka. When I pressed the upload for my first game, I was wasted. And God help me, it's sold. We got a little core of people buying the game because of our publisher. Because of that attention, we got
Yeah, I'm not an artist at all, so basically all of my stuff comes from like air quotes programmer art.
Which was enormously successful. And because our game there weren't many role-playing games and ours was
Okay.
competent. We got a lot of word of mouth. And a lot of people say, don't count on word of mouth. Don't count on word of mouth. Word of mouth isn't going to get you through. And I'm like, I've always been reading it like, good Lord, what else do I have? My games are slow paced. They're not good for YouTube and Twitch streaming. They're cheap. They're not good for getting press. We're never going to get a proper publishing deal. We can't afford advertising, and even if we could, advertising almost never works. Word of mouth is all we ever got. And to be perfectly honest, you need to write a game that's good enough that someone's going to be passionate enough about it to bug their friends and talk on forums about it. If you don't have that, then you may have a problem. So anyway, this is what a game selling looked like in 2017. Thanks to luck and thanks to Fanasoft's kind help, we made $53,000 in today dollars in our first year, and that's solid money. That's middle class income for a grad student. That's amazing. And so I'm like, okay, this is for real. And the best thing about it, I think one of the great miracles of being an indie creator in the indie field is that I owned my work. When you make a video game, you've made a miracle. You've made a machine that prints money. Normally when you make a machine that prints money, it's a felony and they send you to jail. But here, they let you get away with it. And even if that machine isn't making money right now, you wait 5 years, you remaster it. It might start, put some more ink in it. It might start kicking out money then. There has not hardly been a day gone by since I released Exile that I have not made money off of it. And owning your work is one of the greatest things in the world. And even back then, I knew if I wanted to try and make a go of it, my whole story was going to be about two things: making a back catalog and getting myself some fans.
It would just be easier for you to draw it. Okay.
So at this point, my grad school performance is pretty much non-existent. So I take a master's and I get the heck out. I port Exile to Windows, writing games on Windows 3.1. The less said about that, the better. It took me 3 days to draw one 256 color icon onto a screen. I put that demo on America Online. That sells too. Great. So now I need to write another game. What am I going to do? Well, it's the computer game industry. I take the name of my previous game and I put a 2 after it. About this time, now everyone in this business is familiar with the phenomenon where your game sells great and then the sales suddenly drop by 90%. These days, in this enlightened accelerated time, that usually takes about 3 days. Back then, it took me a few months. But not long after I decided to go full time, my sales just immediately fall into the toilet, and I felt like I was going to die. I took that limitless terror and funneled that energy into working onto Exile 2.
So
Now, at this point,
do this.
now I'm making a new game, all of a sudden the pattern for how I like to do things starts to be clear. I like a small company. I like to work alone. I keep doing that. Most of my code is functional, so I keep reusing it. I reuse most of my assets, most of my graphics, most of my sounds. I am merciless about reusing assets. I have used the same wolf icon in like 15 different games. If it's a decent icon, it looks like a wolf. The next game, it's still going to look like a wolf. People make fun of me for it all the time, but I'm also still in business. Whenever I release a new game, I look for the 25% of it that's the worst, and I redo that. I am the leanest and the meanest of developers. And again, this is all part of finding my creative process. People make fun of me for it all the time, but it's just the way I work. And if you're not like that, if you need bespoke art and if you need custom music, if that's your process, then go with it. You know, you have to earn more sales to make up for it. But if that's what you need to do to feel happy with your life in this business, that's what you got to do. But if you find a thing where you feel that it's okay to be cheap, do not let anyone shame you out of being cheap. Finish Exile 2. It takes a little over a year. It's like Exile, but a tiny bit better. So it's still selling. I have to write a new game. Well, my last game had a 2 after the name, so I decided, being it's the video game industry, I changed the 2 to a 3. Now, by this time, I have pretty much entirely strip-mined my childhood of good ideas, so I evolve my design process. Instead of just stealing ideas from the games from when I was young, I look at the games that came out in the previous 3 years, and I steal the best single idea from every one of those. Again, innovation is great and is one of the greatest strengths of being an indie. But another of the greatest strengths of being an indie is that we have the ability to pick up the genres that are too small for AAA people to take advantage of: puzzle games, roguelikes, adventure games, and exploit those. And because there's so many games, there aren't that many underutilized genres. But a new genre re-becomes underutilized every year. It's 1997. The web exists. So I code this utterly gorgeous website. It's on spiderwebsoftware.com still. It's not on spiderweb.com because someone has been squatting on that URL for the last 25 continuous years. We decide to go independent. We break from Fanosoft and we start doing everything ourselves. To do this convincingly, I have to gain the ability to take credit cards. Now, at this time, no bank will trust me because nobody seriously believes it is possible to make a living, make money on the internet. They think I'm
going to do the cactus version. There's like an empty place. What should I put there?
Look, I'm a real real money. I need to be able to
maybe like a little tiny succulent or something, like a little guy.
I'm not a con artist. They asked me for a printout of my website. So I print out my website. I hand it to them. They look at me like I'm a wizard. And then they sent me a credit card swipe machine to go in my apartment. So in order, people call me on the phone, and I type the number in with my finger. We program our own online store. We host our own demos. We handle our own file handling. We do all our own security. We do all of the own horrible stuff that services like iTunes and Steam make frictionless. And I just have to say, sometimes take a moment to see how amazing everything is. Like, I hear indies complain all the time about the cut that Apple and Steam take. But all of the stuff that Steam does for you and makes easy, I've had to do myself, support myself, a la carte. I've hired full-time employees to do the stuff that Steam does. I know how much it costs. And more importantly, they do too. So if you want to be mad at Steam, fine, but bear in mind that that percentage is not going to shift. We finish Exile 3. It's big, it actually is innovation in addition to the theft. There's still not a lot of role-playing games out. It's exactly the right game at the right time, and it's a big hit. Now, I say that I had a shareware hit. Now, these days, when you have a hit, that means that you get to
whether any
out of yachts. In 1997, having a hit was something less different. My first year sales from Exile 3 was $8.
So in the script, then theoretically,
don't get me wrong, that's serious money. That's life-changing money. That's you have a game that sells like that. You're going to do the rest of your life. That's I'm going to be in this business for a long time money. But it's not. It's still I have to work for money. And by the way, before I leave this slide, I want to I beg you, please support bigcatport.com. And the good work they do.
False.
My radiant wife, Marianne, who is the wind beneath my wings, has a job. So she quits her job and comes on in the sense that we've been writing Spiderweb software together. She's my business manager and keeps every single thing running. At this point, we're doing all our own everything ourselves. Most of our orders come in over the phone, and we talk to humans. People talk a lot about how on the internet the anonymity makes it easier for people to be mean to each other. But anyone who's done phone customer service, I assure you, people have no problem being utterly inhuman to you when they're talking to you like a person. This is a key lesson for anyone who runs a small business or deals in a creative way. It is a human constant that a certain number of people, let's say 10%, no matter what the demographic, if you're talking about people who are left-handed, people with red hair, people who are gamers, people who wear socks, a certain percentage of those people are always going to be mean. A certain percentage of those people are always going to be cranks, and there's nothing you can do about it. And when you're building your business world and your mind environment, you have to take that into account. And you should remember that often the people who are
now I'm gonna do some stuff like clutter on the table to choose from. That's cool. Just kind of like different styles based on vibes. I like that. Okay, so
between love and hate. So if you're gonna make it for your 40 years, shelter your brain. If there is a sort of input that puts me
direction
working at top efficiency to keep this ball rolling, if something is keeping me from working, I cut it out mercilessly. I have no idea what my Steam reviews are. None. I never go on my forums unless I absolutely have to. If a new game is out, I have to look on it, see if there's any bugs. I look at my forums. But otherwise, I never look at forums.
Direction
I'm on Twitter, but if people start being mean to me on
to
Twitter, and then I
int.
go back on when the coast is clear. And let me be clear. I'm a white guy, so I get less abuse. I'll be straightforward about that. Bear in mind, I still get
One.
I have gotten some input from out in the wild, utterly and legitimately
Fire.
terrifying. But other people will get more abuse than I am because of who they are. It is not fair. It is one of many unfair things that you are going to run into in this business. But no matter what happens, once again, there's going to be cranks and you can't do anything. So you have to shelter your brain because in the end, the first order of business is your work and producing it. And one more side note, don't be afraid to fire a customer. They say that the customer is always right. That's not true. Customers are wrong all the time. But the truth is nobody ever won an argument with a customer. There are times when you're going to have to say to someone, look, my thing isn't for you. I can't add that feature. I can't write that expansion. I just can't do the thing you want. Offer them a refund and send them on their way. If someone is on the forums and you can see that they're just there to cause trouble, ban them. People are making a noise. That person who is screwing up your business, you shouldn't have banned them. Ban them too. The business will continue until morale improves. Daddy is home. If you're on the floor, if you're on your forums and someone is just there to make trouble, you can tell. And some of them are good about it. They'll just push right up to the line and push back. Push right up in the line and push back. People who are nice and who support you will understand. About this time, I also start, trying to help other shareware people do what I do. I create this website, which is still up. It is hilariously out of date. It's like 20 years old. But I've always written talks, given articles, done everything I could to help shareware developers because I believe in it. I really do. So in a very short period of time, we go from not believing it is possible to make money on the internet to believing you can only make money on the internet. And even at the time, it was fully obvious that this was ridiculous. Basically, people would just make tech companies. They'd try to grow really, really fast. Even though the company was obviously doomed, they'd try to get enough interest in it to get in a whole bunch of IPO and investor money, cash out, move to a different continent, and then the whole thing exploded, which of course it did, as it had to. Fortunately, we live in a much more enlightened time now, and we can be assured that will never happen again. The bubble was a big help for us. Everyone and their cousin was making a video game website because they thought there was money in that, and we had a lot of free PR from it. They sent out shareware CDs. We got on a lot of them. Between having a successful game and sort of splash onto us from the internet boom, we had to ask ourselves, now what? What's our business going to do? What's it going to be like? Because we could get investors. We could build a real business. I could make games that my parents aren't ashamed of. What am I going to do? We could build something really big. We thought about it, we had some conversations, and we basically did nothing. We hired one full-time employee to do all the stuff that Steam
Let's
does
just
for us
see
now,
if he
so
turns around at the edge.
sometimes. That's pretty much all we changed. And just to be clear, we have no regrets. And if you want to build a big company, if you want to be a Viking, my God,
Peace out with cookies,
nothing but my admiration.
books and letters. That's cool. I like that.
Business, do that. But me, I'm a humble toy maker. I sit in my garage and I make little toys for all the happy boys and girls. That's my life. That is what I do. That is what I'm always going to do. Live or die. That's my bag. And just one more fun aside. There was so many games magazines that for a short time it was very, very good money to write about video games. I had days where it's like, oh God, I want to work on this game, but I have to write games.
Yeah, he's just like,
money. Oh, it feels good to laugh. Of course, that ended, and yet someday it may return when enough people in a field go out of business, and the demand for some reason increases. You get a growth period in the business cycle. You just have to be lucky enough and ready enough to catch it when it comes. So over the next 4 years, we write more games. We write Legs of Exile, which is Exile dumb, obvious scenario creation system that's simple enough that anybody can use it, and we get piles and piles of scenarios for it. It's still popular. We open sourced it. I decided to write a new IP.
Okay.
Write a game called Nethergate, which is
We're
something
going
almost like
to
Innovation. It's a historical role-playing game with Celts versus Romans in ancient Britain. I read actual books. So this is what it looks like in Unity. I switched my graphics around. I'm trying to get a little bit more like productive values. It had a really innovative story structure where it's one story, but you can play two different sides and see it from both sides.
actually, let's make the speed
Educational game, which is
more for like a second.
sold okay. And I was getting really sick of this point of everyone telling me your graphics suck, your graphics suck, your graphics suck. So I spend some actual money. I hire actual artists and get graphics that are somewhere in the same continent as the standard for graphics at the time. The result, of course, was that every day people told me your graphics suck, your graphics suck, your graphics suck. That was the last time I ever made the mistake of making an effort.
Okay.
It's really important to note in indie games that pretty much every game is going to be someone's favorite game. Your goal is to make a game that is enough people's favorite game to keep you in food and shelter. And this is why you should always be very scared of someone asking for more curation on a platform, because one person or one panel of people can never, ever predict in the end what the market is going to like. The only thing that can decide what the market will like is the market.
Okay. Why are you being weird?
For a few years.
Oh, it's because I never shifted this to where it was actually supposed to be.
Role-playing games are an evergreen niche, and we served it well. Everything seemed to be just cruising along fine. So that's when we almost went out of business. Suspense. Our next series was the Geneforge series, which I'm enormously proud of, and
all right, let's see what happens.
Next in line for a really nice remastering. The Geneforge games were actually innovative. It was a sci-fi fantasy hybrid. There's no bad guys in Geneforge. There's just factions that you choose.
All right, so
open-ended. You can play an entirely pacifist character, get through the whole thing with trickery, and never do a fight. At this point, the Exile games are embarrassingly old, so we start remastering them as Vernum games. And once again, those sell great. We've
to is colliding.
6 years. We do 2 Geneforge games. We do 2 remasters. We have fans. Every year in November, we do a sale, 10% off. Can you imagine? That always does really well. Around this time, we're making in the 200,000s a year for 3 full-time employees. And that's most of the time
I don't need, if I'm switching scale, I don't
that
need
was pretty solid.
Switch direction, I don't think.
2007, we've been doing this for about 13 years. I remastered Blades of Exile as Blades of Vernum. It has a really powerful scripting engine people can use to make scenarios. It takes forever to write it, and it was just too complicated. People weren't really as into making it. I write Geneforge 3, and quite frankly, I was lazy. It's been a long time I was complacent. I slacked off, and I made a game that was just too similar to the previous games. They just didn't do that well. They went down a bunch. And I'll just show you numbers to show what, for us, almost going out of business means. 2003, we make almost $300,000 in today dollars. The next year, it's down by over a quarter. And again, 3 full-time employees. We have a ton of expenses doing the things that Steam does for us. And on top of that, we got 2 kids. And you know the joke, how much money does it take to raise kids? All of it. So this seems like a pretty healthy number, but this means we're bouncing checks. At this point, we're kind of running scared. And
Velocity
at this point, I rise up and try to get over my complacency. I start redouble my energy and start redoing everything I can. And once again, here's some advice that seems like sort of artsy. Oh yeah, you always have to keep growing as a human, man. Have you ever looked at your hands? No. You have to keep growing as an artist, and this is hard-nosed practical advice. Because remember, for the most part, we're toy makers. We sell amusements. We sell things that tickles people's brains. We sell surprise and complacency.
Okay, let's see. Look at my guy here. So, enabled one. Duties. Bodies. function choose change direction. How's it going, guys? How's everybody doing today? Correction. Cool. I hope that's going well for you. Okay, so if floor detector dot is colliding, return. If floor detector and floor detector 2 is colliding. So if both of them are colliding simultaneously, you don't need to worry about changing directions. If floor detector dot is colliding equals false, let's see, turns to head, turns first course request update. Floor detector dot is to floor dot detector. Oh, that's why I'm having trouble with it. Floor detector dot if true. So if you're okay with people saving your stuff as like text files, I don't know how to do it in RenP, but there's pretty easy ways that you can just kind of like save basically all of their states to a text file and just read it up. Alright, so I don't need collides with bodies function. That doesn't. So we're just going to do is colliding still. is colliding equals false. To I mean that the next time that yeah. There's like a weird. Let me see if I can find it really quick. Saving files as text. This might be able to put you in the right direction. I don't know anything about RenPy. None of that stuff. Okay. And then we're going to do var direction int equals. We're just going to make it. You don't need to set it or anything. No worries. I hope it works for you. If floor detector dot is colliding equals false, direction times equals. Yeah, that's really the part is like taking it's two different tasks, the reading how to do it and then actually doing it, as opposed to just doing it. And so like it can be a little bit more resistance than normal. Alright. They really are. Everyone kind of is just like, yeah, this is hard. As a process, this entire stuff, difficult. Alright, so direction times equals -1. elif floor detector 2 dot is colliding equals false. Also going to do the same thing. Okay, so actually change direction. I'm going to do direction times equals -1. I'm going to name this as a separate function. Function do red Koopa logic. Avoid falling. Okay, cool. Heck yeah. It's super exciting. Yeah, share as much work as there as you want. That's what it is there for.
Consistency and predictability and repetition are the death of that. If you want to write a sequel, great. Sequels are awesome, but your sequel better introduce something new, and it better introduce that new thing early. Because if people pick up your game and go, "Yeah, I've done all this, and I don't need to do more of this," then you're going to start bouncing checks. We extend the Exile series into Vernum 4, 5, and 6 with a completely revamped engine. That does really well. We redo a lot of stuff about how we do GeneForge 4. I expand the scripting engine and create really complicated multi-stage events and introduce them as soon as the game starts. The next two GeneForge games sell really well. And then the most surprising thing I could have possibly imagined happened. Indie games became big. Indie bubble is not really the correct term. It was not really a true speculative bubble. It was more, I should call it the indie glut. But I'm not going to go much into the factors that caused it. It's been much discussed. I will only add one factor about why indie games got big that I don't think gets enough attention. Indie games are successful because people like us. We're the little guy. We're the scrappy tinkerers in our garages fighting against the big monolithic corporations. This is an enormously powerful and moving archetype. Whole teen movies are made about this. And it is important to remember that we are likable, and it's important to concentrate on staying likable because that likability is one of our greatest assets. If you're likable, that is what will make people stick with you through rough times, and that's what people will make people go to your Kickstarter and spend $1,000 for a $15 game. Steam's big, indie games are big. I write a whole new game engine and a whole new game which looks a little bit prettier called Avedon. And between having a nice looking new game and back catalog, we're able to make a lot of money. And I have to return again to the idea of luck. Now, at this point, I've been making indie games for decades, and I was sort of humming along, but all of a sudden, indie games became big when nobody was expecting it. There was a huge demand for product, and hey, I was sitting on years and years and years of back catalog, and as a result of that, I was able to get more deals and make more money than I, in any remote way, deserved. We get on all the fashionable online stores. We luck into a meeting with Steam. And I'm sure a lot of
Let's
people ask,
this
Jeff
work.
Vogel, why did he get that detail? Why is he in that place? Well, one of the things is I always try to be the most frictionless person to work with. I'll negotiate about contracts, but not very much. I'm not a hard ass. I answer emails right away. I pay contractors right away. If someone asks for assets, they have them in their hands by the end of the day. If you're as frictionless as possible to work with, you will be amazed at what opportunities it opens for you. We lower our games to $10 because Steam tells us that's what we have to do to be on Steam. We do so, and God knows we made it up in volume. And at the beginning of the Indie Glut, this is how much money we made. It is, again, this is life-changing money. It's just the culmination of a very lucky break, followed by a lot of work, and it's more than we deserve. The Indie Glut starts to rise. People see that indie games are big and they start writing them. We do our standard thing. We write 2 more new games. We write 2 more remasters. We make them as good as we could. We sell a ton. And then as more indie games flow in, we sell a lot less. Massive competition means we can't make it up in volume anymore. We raise our prices to $20, which is where we are now. Indie development enters the recession period of its business cycle, a recession period that I suspect will probably last for a very long time because it's tough to make a living as an artist. Other people are writing indie games now. It's a hot thing. It even gets to be in rooms. You all appear, and I quietly get old. I don't think anybody could have possibly imagined how big video games are going to get. It's over $100 billion a year, which is pretty big. And this is a vicious industry. This is a nasty, competitive blood sport industry. And as much as we hate to think about it, we are, to some extent, in this room, all in competition.
So something's happening
there
here.
There is only a finite number of humble slots. There is only a finite number of Steam front page slots. And it's a zero-sum game. If I get an opportunity, someone else doesn't. But it is fantastic, perhaps necessary, that still sometimes we can come here as a summit to genuinely try to help each other, because we're artists and God knows nobody else cares about us. It's one of the few things that makes life doing this tolerable. A month and a half ago, we came out with another remaster.
That is the
Burn a
glitch.
Ruined World, and it's doing quite well.
Figured it
it's not
out.
setting the world on fire, but we're going to be able to keep writing games for a couple more years. And I'm going to alternate between new games and remasters as long as I can handle it. And when I write a game, I'm making a whole new game right now and a whole new IP. And whenever I have
And we have a red Koopa. He turns around when he gets to a floor. Yeah.
And then I make that. And if my taste ever gets so bad that I fall
I hope you liked my jingle.
out of line with the market, then I will receive my just punishment and then go right back to It helps that over the year we have a big fan base. People
Yay!
fans for a decade and then float back. We have a long back catalog, which we mercilessly exploit whenever we can. And one of the great things is that never be ashamed of an old game. If the game is fun, 10 years later, it's still going to be fun. Never go to sleep on your old products. If you believed in it once, 10 years later, keep believing in it.
Okay, now let's see if I can tweak it a little bit and make it work a slightly more modular way. So we are going to not worry about this floor detector.
It is possible. If you write quality games consistently, if you're tenacious, if people like your games, if you build up a fan base, if you have the tenacity of the cockroach, then you will eventually make it, maybe. Making a living as an artist is hard. It's always been hard, but it always will be hard. And I want to say reassuring things, but I'm too fundamentally honest to not. I have to tell the truth. It's possible, but it's rough. And people ask all the time, do you think I have what it takes to make it? What do I need to do to make it? And my favorite quote about this comes from noted stand-up comedian and banjo enthusiast Steve Martin. You should always try to write games that pass the P test. You want to write a game that's so compelling that people forget to pee. if you let people test your game and you tell them you can't play it anymore, you should always be shooting. There should always be one person out of your testers, one weirdo who's grabbing you by
Floor
the lapels.
detector dot
I gotta keep
scale
playing this game.
dot x
That is the goal, and it's hard. My God, I know it's hard.
-1.
And that's why you can't quit your day job.
Then
You have to
debug
have until you have some
visible
until you're sure. And again, this is a process thing.
navigation
Some
shape,
people will
yes.
prove me wrong, but I really believe, unless you're absolutely sure, don't quit your day job until you've got the game that you're going, this is it. This game is addictive. I will bet my life on it, because you kind of are. So I just want to end with a couple inspirational words, just because I am fundamentally cheery. In all of the havoc and all of the terror,
Okay, so
please occasionally take a moment to be proud. People who do what we do, people who are artists and musicians and whatnot, are carrying on a tradition that is as old as humanity. The compulsion, when you see a blank canvas, a compulsion to fill that canvas with something, to take all of the weird stuff in your brain and go, blah, and hope that it lands on someone and makes their life better. What we do is a noble thing. And I ask you, it's a rough road ahead, but I ask you to not forget it and to be proud. I will be taking
rotation 90.
If you've got a question for Jeff, please come line up at the mic.
But while people are coming up, I will say,
Right,
if
cool.
you follow my Twitter, you've already seen this. I was looking in my desk drawer, and I found a 3.5-inch floppy disk on it that says, in case of emergency. I found it in my drawer where it's been sitting for about 15 years. And at some point about 15 years ago, I remember making this disk. I remember thinking, this thing, if I'm ever in trouble, I have to have this or everything's going to explode. And I copied something on a disk and put it in a drawer. I have no idea what's on here. All I know is I can never get rid of this. I can never ever get rid of this thing. I'm gonna be buried with this. This is in my coffin. My head's gonna be on it like a pillow. Someone on Twitter says, it might be a Linux reboot disk. Oh yeah, like I'm gonna take extra effort to keep running Linux. Okay, there's your hot take. Oh sure.
So what was the degree you were working on? What was the Jeff that we missed out on because you decided to make games?
I was at Rutgers University in beautiful central New Jersey working on a PhD in applied mathematics, because the world needs much more of that. And I just couldn't stand it. The whole point of grad school is to make your life so miserable that it forces you to decide to do something proper.
Hi, I know who you are because
Floor detector dot.
and theoretically it's possible.
Oh sure.
I have not quit my day job yet, so I got that going.
Set
Yeah, we're gonna
scale.
play late at night. That is the artist's tradition.
So my question is that maybe this is too personal for you to answer, but I'm a one-man shop right now.
Okay.
I have lots of programming and design experience. The art is where I'm like kind of struggling, and so I'm at the point where I'm actually starting to ask the question: is like, how do I move forward with that? Do I go with a very like cheap indie look, like some of your early games, or do I like start investing in people to like start making art for me at a like more professional level? And I guess I was wondering what your insight of like when to know when to advance that.
So I'm trying to bring up this slide because this is the. Okay. Well, it's kind of visible.
Yeah.
So there's tons of free resources online. My mind is just shattered by the depth and the quality of resources you can license online for free or very reasonably priced. So be merciless. Real artists ship. Find what it takes to get your thing off the launch pad and download that. And of course, it's going to come up to your creativity and a skill as a craftsman. You're going to have to, you go on opengameart.com, you're going to see 500 million icons. You have to pick out the ones that work together in a cohesive whole. You're probably going to get to the point where it gets you 90% of the way there, and there's some things that you can only properly do with bespoke art. And when that happens, then you got to find a real artist, and you got to pay out some money. And that's still my process. When I'm designing a game, I look at all of my resources, my own back catalog of art. I look at the art that's free online that is of quality, and I say, okay, what can I make for cheap? But what do I gotta pay a person for? So my advice: make cruddy programmer, download stuff from sites, make cruddy programmer art for the rest, make a game, make it functional, and then show it to people and play them, and ask yourself, do I got a live one here? And if you do, then it's time to deal with the whole other topic / universe of pain that is finding and dealing with freelancers. But yeah, that's the best advice I can give.
I guess just a real quick follow-up, like, if it's not all about money, when do you know, like, when it's time to, like, maybe, like, advance your own skills and, like, work on your art skills to be, like, more full-featured as opposed to...
Depends on who you are.
Yeah.
I'm bad at art, so I don't do it. But there are some people who are pretty good at art, and it's make an icon. See how it looks. See how long it takes. If your taste is good enough, you'll be able to tell if it's a good icon or not. Figure out how long it takes. Figure out.
All right, I think once we get through this talk, I'm gonna go ahead and
do it.
call it a
See
night.
how much money you got on hand, and then make the call. And it's just the sort of business skills that you're going to have to develop yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, good talk.
Thank you very much.
2 quick questions. You had mentioned how fans could kind of turn from love to hate pretty quickly. Is it possible to go the other way around?
Oh, sure. Life is long. Over a course of 25, 30, 50 years, it's like a fan of life.
It's about my dinner time. I need to hop off, start making some dinner, spend some time with the family a little bit.
And go, yeah,
Let's see. This on floor.
and
Da-da.
Is it worth kind of
Like
like
so.
during that particular moment to try to convert them, or you just kind of like break it there?
I'm trying to convert my fans, old fans, back all the time through a process that I call releasing a game. I write the best thing that I can and put out there. I'm certainly not focusing on individuals. And part of it, when I'm writing games, I don't expect.
Oh, it's only 7:30 p.m. where I'm at.
Games, because look at all this crap.
If is on
I write
floor.
2 different series at the same time that are very different. I have people who are fans of one series and hate the other series, and vice versa. Oh God, I had a really good point with that. No, I guess I didn't. No, I just make the things, and when I make a decision, I just ask what really works for this. And people are notoriously change-averse and risk-averse. If you change something, you're always going to lose people. But you got to change things, or you're going to go crazy. So that's the game. You always got to make sure that when you change, when you do a new thing, that thing you add is going to bring in fans to replace the ones you lose, or hopefully increase the number.
Do you feel like the majority of your fan base existed before, like the Steam and indie level?
Well, remember, I was doing this for a living. I started doing it for a living in 1995, and Steam only became a thing that indies were crazy about 16 years later. So I'd been building fans forever. I made my own mailing list. If you can make your own mailing list, my God, that's a good mailing list. It's just a big red button that you hit it and $1,000 flies out. Make a fan base. Cultivate your fan base. If at all possible, communicate with your fan base. I mainly do it by email, but I'll always answer an email. If someone cares about me that much, I'll always send their email back.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
You mentioned about peaks and valleys throughout your career.
Sure.
When it's a valley, how do you keep the sort of emotional fortitude to keep going
Let's
forward?
see. We're just gonna see what happens.
So the question is, when it's a valley, when things are going hard, how do you keep your emotions on an even keel? And what I tend to use is methamphetamine, which is. Oh, I'm in for it. Okay. Again, this is a very individual, very human, very person-to-person case. When I get terrified, I work harder. But I make sure to take time off. You're going to have hard times. You're going to have times when you're sad. You're going to have times when you're scared. You're going to have times when you're angry. You still need to eat. You need to sleep. You still need to maintain your relationships. And you just got to find your way to manage that. Like I said, I don't look at my forms. Only that my employees are forbidden to tell me how much money we're making. I never look at my sales. When I balance the checkbook every 3 months, then I know how much money we're making. Otherwise, I don't know, because if I find out, it's just going to stress me out. You figure out, you know your own brain, and I don't. Figure out the thing in your brain that enables you to deal with the terror, because you will always have some of the terror.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Maybe I'll suggest an SSRI over methamphetamine.
No half measures, man. I'm going out on top. Yes.
Hello, thanks for the talk. I was wondering, if you were starting out today, would you use your own engine again, or would you choose some of the existing engines?
I'd probably make my own engine because I'm a total code. I enjoy programming enough and tech stuff enough, and this is an area that people argue about a lot. But I feel
Hey, congrats. I think we both got done with what we were trying to do about the same time. I pretty much got the baseline set up for this is my experiment. Cool, I got this done. My next step is to just add some more functionality to this. We got a red Koopa.
I respond that what you may have overlooked is that you don't need to know how to program. If you have the source code, you find some hungry kid out of college, you hand him a basket of our Earth dollars, and you say, here's my mess, make it work. And then they disappear, and they come back, and your engine works. They have money and something to put on a resume. You have.
All right, well, Faye, I'm gonna catch you later. Thank you for coming and hanging out, and it means the world to me that
much more than you asked, but it's
share. I think I have like a share your work or works in progress or something like that. Anything like that would be awesome. But no, like the whole like you like my voice so you're hanging out thing, like that is like the best compliment I could have ever gotten. Like that made me really, really happy. So I appreciate you coming and hanging out. I think we're gonna go ahead and hop out of here. Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Y'all have a good night.